justification in your mind, but the reality is just life. You'll face a lot of negatives. And for me, the way I said again, I go back to that place and say, where was the dark period? How did I get through it? Always look for a lot of strength there. Similarly, I would say, it's okay to lose hope, but then you'll have something happen that'll get you back on track. But say it happens to me, and there are times I sit and say, am I making a mistake? And I'm traveling a lot. I do 6-7 trips back to US in every year. It's a lot of time. Every time I sit in the flight, I'm like, oh God, another 24 hours. Then you come to the school, you're like, this is great. It's worth it, right? So find those things that excite you and find people who will support you. I depend a lot on people. I leverage that, especially friends, family. And I'm very open, so when I have a dark period, I share it with them. And sure enough, someone's there to uplift me. So as an entrepreneur, don't keep, at least from what works for me, is don't keep things so bottled up. They just blow up at some point. I think it's good to have that outlet. Everyone goes through those phases, so just talking helps a lot.
Excellent. So I think you touched upon the people part a little bit, and I think that was going to be my next question, which is, as we all build companies, you worked in finance, you worked in technology, and now you're working in 2 new sectors. So in terms of building a team, which I think was crucial for you at the schools as well, what has been your experience in terms of, the normal thing that is written in the books is hire the A players, right? I personally have an experience that, A players actually sometimes never work out very well, right? So what have you learned, and what is your advice in terms of, building team and kind of getting that people angle right?
From my point of view, I think what I really wanted to focus on the school was the culture. So even from principals, ayahs, teachers to my team on the school side, corporate side, culture is very important in the sense that we want that very open communication. So I was sharing with someone earlier that I would walk by a class and the kids and teachers would just stand up and everything would come, sit. And they're like, no, sir, we have to show you respect, right? Respect for us is you keep going like you are. And unless your teacher and principal walks in, you don't stand up for anyone. You keep going. And then there were teachers weren't sort of treating the ayahs as well. Ayahs would leave, and then sort of the whole system starts crumbling. So then we started focusing on how to make ayahs happy, right? And just with respect. And we can only pay them so much because we charge a very small amount. So we have those restrictions, but how we treat them, we can do it better than anyone else, hopefully. And then we were seeing the parents were mistreating the teachers, so teachers would get upset. So then one day they came and complained and said, your teachers are leaving, this. I said, you want to keep them longer? I said, why don't you treat them well? So we treat them well. I think we're doing our part. Where teachers complain about is the parents, how you treat them. They're not your servants. So parents have now sort of started understanding that. So we spend a lot of time on this, and now teachers and parent relationships are getting better. So that culture is very important. In terms of hiring people, we first teacher I interviewed, we asked her to demonstrate something. She couldn't even explain the difference between a square and a rectangle. She'd been teaching math for 4 years. What have you done? And then we sort of stepped back, and this was recurring. This wasn't just one. So finally, I pulled Manish and I said, okay, we know what we're not getting. We're not getting the knowledge. So what are we getting? What do we need? We need passion. We need sort of a presence in the classroom and English speaking skills. So let's focus on that. So we'll give them the content. If they need to, give them the book, we need to write it for them, we'll do it. But let's have them deliver it. So then someone said, just give them videos. We said, no, let's not give them videos. Let them teach. But we'll give them the content. So we prepared a PowerPoint, step by step. And the same teacher who couldn't explain the difference between square and rectangle was a different person. So she had never run a remote projector. And by the 3rd class, she was teaching the class. And kids were, what we had not anticipated, that PowerPoint, how engaged the kids would get. So even if a teacher missed a step, kids were like, man, you missed something, right? So then teachers were actually getting trained in the process. And then we have a team. We have actually one of our colleagues is from Pune, teacher India fellow, phenomenal person. So she works with the teachers on how to do class management. So we're focusing on those things. We can't go back and teach them 18 years of content. What we can teach them is those things. So those are things we're looking for: is presence, attitude, and most of them work out. Some don't. We've had a high turnover. A lot of teachers leave because of the demands we put on them as well. I think it filters out. Now we've got a good core group that's staying with us and can keep training other teachers.
Excellent. And across your earlier career as well, I mean, what would you rate higher, attitude or qualification?
Attitude, absolutely, no doubt.
Excellent, excellent. So I think the other point I want to touch on is a little less oriented around work, but how do you manage and balance this with your personal life over these years? Because a lot of people here are young entrepreneurs who are very excited, who are honestly fed with a lot of myth also sometimes about working hard, very hard sometimes. So what is your advice around that? How have you balanced, and I'm sure you've made some mistakes as well along the way.
Definitely. So when we had our furniture business, my wife and I didn't take a week off for 10 years. So we would go somewhere and we'd always add business to it. Go let's visit this customer, we'll go to California. It was mainly my fault. She'll tell you that too, I'm sure. But it was not good. It was not a smart move at all. I was thinking we were working longer, harder. It's a stupid thing. So take your time off, balance it. There's no, world's not going to end. Work will always be there. I would return my emails within 24 hours. Now I just take an attitude. If it's not urgent, I'll take 2-3 days. I'll always, sorry for the delayed response, it's fine. But balance it, and or just even let them know I'll respond to you in 2 days. So I do that, and so you have to balance it. I think just running hasn't worked for me. And I thought it was working, but it wasn't.
Excellent. And I think a related point is also, I think I've personally made several decisions as well, where I think do you take the happy choice or the money choice or the right choice or what feels the right choice, right? And you come across these as several folks along, along your career and your life. So what have your experiences been? I know I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, but just to share,
No, I tell you, life at the bank was great. We had seats to all the sports games, suites, expensive hotel rooms, business class seats. And now that I'm sitting on 24-hour economy class, those days are good. No, but there's so much other baggage with it, right? That it was great. I mean, I would, if I didn't sort of find anything else I enjoyed, I'd do it again, But I guess you get to a certain point, you sort of start making some decisions. Some people it's career. For an entrepreneur, like I don't want to get a corporate job. I'll find making less money, doing what I do. I think those things are very individual to me. I don't think it's a one size fits all. Just you have to find your own thing. What works. Your friends who were at Cisco for 17 years, more power to them. I mean, obviously, you can always keep thinking. I think the bank would have been nice. Wouldn't have to travel as much. So I think you can always contemplate. At the end of the day, you make your decisions that hopefully keep you happy. Or a lot of people, it's also requirements, right? You've got kids, you've got mortgages, you've got car payment.
Yes.
And depending on also how deep you want to get in those. And we in the US are terrible, right? And I've had friends who've bought 3 or 4 houses every time, they're getting a bigger and bigger house. Like, for some people, that's what they want.
Okay. Well, I think for a lot of entrepreneurs sitting in this room, I think some of those decisions become very critical, whether it's the house or delaying the house and things like that, right? So that's definitely helpful. So I think with that, we've covered some very interesting stories along the several years. With that, I think we can open out to questions specifically. Whatever you're facing and you need advice around that or anything else.
Sir, whenever any entrepreneur starts his journey, he leaves his job because of mainly 2 reasons. First, he is not happy with his current scene, or he has an exciting idea, so which he feels that when he will start executing that idea, he will be in a very good position. But when he actually gets into that entrepreneurship and he feels he faces the real situations, when he knows that okay, this is not as rosy as it used to sound when we have seen that dream. So in that case, what should an entrepreneur should do? Should he continue that journey, or he should do for the reality check?